Hello, my beautiful people. Another very interesting episode today. And that is, what do I mean by idolizing somebody? Okay, the reason that this inspired me, a couple of things actually. I've always thought, about a lot of these things, of course, things that I talk about, but I haven't really talked about this before. Okay, so again, culture, right? Culture, mainstream, following mainstream. There are things in pop culture um, that I could go in the long list of, but let's just talk about just the example of celebrities. Okay, so there was a Netflix show, and I forget what it's called, but it's basically the guy who was basically glamorized after he tried to what did he do? Try to axe some guy. He was trying to basically was looked at as a hero for saving somebody's life, and he was a hitchhiker. That's what it was. He was a hitchhiker, and I watched this a few weeks ago. Sorry, I almost didn't finish it. And he saved somebody's life, but then he was also glorified and glamorized afterwards. And then they found out. I guess he was convicted of actually killing an older man. So and I'm sorry if I get any of the details wrong, but I'm pretty sure like he was convicted of it, but I'm not positive because it was weeks ago that I watched it. So, as far as looking up to celebrities in general and people following the crowd and following Hollywood, and that's been going on for a very long time. Okay, so I would say that in a way that if that's a form of idolizing or idolatry, if you want to call it that, and basically looking up to these people as like they are not humans and not capable of killing, not capable or don't have problems in everyday living. Okay, so what made me think about this is listening to what made me think about it again is there's somebody in the veteran firefighter community from Florida. He hasn't been a full on guest of mine, but I've talked to him several times, and his name's Rick George. And he's really well known in the community and all over the world with firefighters, very knowledgeable, studies a lot, researcher like me. And it was just making me think like we love to tell him, how he's well he believes he's a messenger, but he doesn't like to like take credit for himself or anything really that he's doing. And so but everybody loves to have him on, right? They really do love and appreciate him. But it made me think that how a lot of times a lot of us it's really great to have a good mentor, like a mentor, right? Of course. And but the bottom line is being your own guidance system. So the point of the story and why I brought up the celebrity thing and the Netflix show is because look at what ended up happening to the hitchhiker guy is that everybody was so in love with him and thought he was such a good Samaritan and all these sorts of things. And he ended up doing something like that, right? So the whole looking at, oh, I don't think people would do that, or making it kind of seem like in their mind, like there can be no, like they are not human, right? And I'm not saying, so this is on the topic of mentors. It could be, okay, it could be a mentor. It could be somebody you're listening to, like me, right? Like, oh, Nora, like, is not like this and wouldn't do this and this. Like, of course, yes, there are certain things if you know about me, I don't even know that I am capable of certain things. There's just horrendous things. Like I can tell you that I would never do that, So, but like to think like, oh, Nora doesn't have problems or she has the best life or whatever it is. And I'm not even always smiling people. So I am not always putting on the show of that I'm happy all the time because again, remember there's ebb and flows and I have to maintain it. So what I'm saying is putting people on pedestals and a lot of people do that. And I want you to think about just with these examples of being your own guidance system. Look to these people if you do have mentors or you respect about them, but not always if you caught yourself being like, well, what would Rick George do or what would Nora do? I used to do that with one of my friends. Or if you're so consumed in that and what they would think and do and operate and all that, excessive. I'm talking about in excessive. That is not a good sign, people. So I want you to learn I would like you to learn, or just be open to the idea of take all this knowledge, take all these things, also look at the person who is your mentor or whatever it is. Now, I'm not really sure if the public, again, with this hitchhiker story, because this happens a lot, right, in the media and all of this in history. It's like either looking up as to these people, either it's a money thing and a wealth thing and their lifestyle, right? Maybe because people felt either sorry for him or they just really loved, again, part of his story. And I was confused about that too, as well, because I was like, wait a minute, are they glamorizing the fact that he almost killed somebody with an axe, or that he was willing to do something? Like, I'm not really sure. I'd almost have to go back and re-listen to that episode. But the bottom line is that gather all of your information, all the research, whatever, building your arsenal and toolkit of who you are, and living your life from your own guidance system. Okay? If you are a spiritual person and God, source, whatever helps guide you, great, magnificent. But if you find that you are being excessive, or like I said, idolizing somebody, look in the cases of those scenarios. Now I want to know what those people think that were loving that hitchhiker. And yeah, just kind of a strange story to me in many aspects, and also too just his his mental health. I'm not sure what's going on there. Um, okay, so that's it for today, folks. So this is what I mean by idolizing, and you may not even think that you are doing this, but like anything, things in moderation, of course, leading, learning from our elders, listening to them, having different sources to help us make our own choices, which my dad made most of my choices. And so that fucked up my head a little bit, just, early on in adulthood, and just being like, hey, like, I can eat Fruity Pebbles if I want to. So it affected my ability to make decisions. Okay. So hope this helped you. Again, like I say, with all my videos, take what resonates with you, dismiss the rest. And maybe this was definitely a creative show today, but I was thinking about this while I was cleaning. Every time that I try to look for different shows to listen to that aren't mindset related, it doesn't go with me very well. Even I'll start to listen to um, like whatever paranormal stuff or whatever, and most of the time it's music, but I always end up coming back to these sorts of mindset shows. And I do love Rick George's material, a lot of which is, so he's the veteran firefighter from Florida, and he teaches and speaks a lot, but he's very similar in my mindset, and he's trained in actually martial arts and different sorts of styles. So he has a lot to say. He's in his 60s, so that's why a lot of people want to talk to him, and he's on their show. And he's also a very spiritual person. But the fact that everything he's talking about, like, he's researched it, whether he's talking about breathing, anything basically mindset to help firefighters out there. So it just reminded me, we're all very grateful and thankful to have him on our show and have him around and helping others and inspire others. And it's great, right? The more and more people that we have out there, that we are all helping each other. I look at it as we are all teachers of each other. But just to keep that in mind and be conscious of it. Okay. It's really easy to get sucked in. And, especially when you respect somebody. So just wanted you to keep that in mind. Okay, people. And that's it. Talk to you next video. Bye.